Okay, in today's class, we are going to look at user group and management. And along with that, we will also be looking at the quotas, how to assign quotas for the users. Based on users, how can we restrict the usage of their disk? Okay. So agenda, so we'll be looking at user management and the types, user management introduction. Then we'll be looking at what are the types. Then what are the commands that are in that can be used for managing the users and groups. And finally, the disk quota thing. So this is what we are going to look at.
Okay, but this is the continuation from yesterday, Alex.
No, not really, Shafi, because yesterday we were looking at package management.
Oh, yes.
So this is something different. So this is not package management, and
Just to know if we finished that session. I mean, the topic.
yes, yeah, we have finished that topic. Yes, we are done with that topic.
Okay.
Just 1 second. So my screen half only is showing. Okay, so in Linux, basically, Linux is basically supports multi-user architecture. So it's very important that we managing the users and group is a core part of the Linux operating system. Users is another name of an account capable of logging into the system with custom privileges. We can have custom privileges for each and every users. So based on that thing, so we can have their users have the users logged in along with their respective custom privileges. Okay, coming to the group is a collection of user accounts, which is very useful to administrator point of view to apply the privileges and permissions to a group, so which has multiple number of users in it. So all instead of giving the permissions based on the users, we can have them clubbed into a group based on their functionality, and then we can assign the required permission to the groups. So that's called as a group. Okay, just a little more explanation about users and groups, how and all a user and a group can exist. I'm just wondering, is the recording is started, right? Recording enabled, correct?
Yeah, the meeting is being recorded on the top. We have a
Yeah,
message.
okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, so these users and groups can be in different combinations. So based on our requirement. So let's look at a sample example, sample scenario here. So there is a users group at the top. So you have a very big users group.
Let's just one thing.
Yes.
Yeah. This one, I think we are familiar with this concept. We can proceed
Okay.
to the next slide. Yeah. But
Okay, we
in
can do
fact,
it.
this one we will see it in the CLI. In fact, here in the as far as the concept, we are aware
Function,
of
yes.
user and
You are
groups.
aware
Yeah.
of that, right?
But
Okay.
in CLI,
Okay.
yes, we need to see this one.
Yes. So I'll just quickly finish off with this thing, and then
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
go to this CLI.
Okay.
So I'll just run through. So users, there are three kinds of users. One is a root user, which is the privileged user, which will get created during the time of installation. Same as the system users. So system users are also users that are used by the Linux processes internally. It will not have a shell terminal, or it will not have a login ability and all. So it will be used by internal processes for its use. And the regular user are the ones that can be created by the root account for each and every users of the system. So that's about the users. And coming to the groups, there are two kinds of groups. One is the user primary group, UPG they call, or it's also some user private group, or some people call it as primary group. So this primary group or the user private group is something created. It's a group which gets created by the operating system whenever a user account is created. Whenever a user account is created, this private group will get created by the system, and this user account will be part of the group UPG group. Other than that, we can create the secondary group, and the secondary group can be based on our requirement. We can create our own group and we can assign members to it. Okay, so UID and JID. So UID and JIDs are nothing but the unique IDs that are given for users and groups. So this groups will also have IDs and users will also have IDs. And generally, if you look at, so below 1000, starting from 0 to 9999 are reserved for system users. And if you see UID 0 is assigned for root account. And typically the UIDs for the regular users and the groups that we create will get started from UID underscore min and GID underscore min, which is present under the login.defs file. So it typically starts from 5000, which we can modify it also, but we should keep it in mind that less than 1000 is 0 to 1000 is meant for the system users and groups. Okay, so these are the user group commands. Maybe I'll just go through these commands in the system instead of just walking through. So user add mod, user add is first command is ID. ID will display the user and group IDs for the logged in user. Currently, if I'm logged in as Alex, so if I give ID and enter, it will tell the UID and GID of the currently logged in user. User add, user mod, and user tell are all the commands which can be used for adding a user, modifying a user account's information, deleting the user account information, user account. And group add, group mod, group tell, or these are the commands which can be used for adding a group, modifying a group, or deleting a group. G password is a command which we can use to assign any password for a group. So basically, generally we don't have a password for the groups, but there's a provision. If you want to create a password for a group, we can do so using G password. And PWCK and grpck are commands which we can use for checking the or verifying the password group and shadow files. And new grp is a command which we can log or change the group of the logged in user whenever we want to. So for example, if I am logged in as Alex, and by default I will be part of the Alex primary group, and if I want to get into some other group, I can use this command new group and give the name of the other group so that I'll be getting into the new group. So the reason for doing such things is as basically some of the applications might be having permissions in the other group. So I can get into that group on a temporary basis, and I can utilize or access the account or access the application or whatever. Okay, so there are some key files that we need to know. So user account informations are stored in this etc passwd file, and password informations are stored in shadow file, and group information is stored in etc group file, and group password are stored in G shadow file. Okay, so user add command password command. Okay, I'll go to the Linux so that it makes more sense. Okay, user add command is a command that we can use to add a user, and it has got some options. These options first, let's take a look, and then we'll try in the system. D is the option which we have to use to set up a home directory location. So whichever the location that you want to give for the as a home directory for the user, so we can define that over here. And S is the option that we have to give for shell, and the shell could be bash shell or z shell or whatever shell. So we can define which shell the user needs to be set to use. And U is the option that we can set for the user ID. So by default, it will start from 1000 and on. I mean, from the UID main and JID main onwards. In case if we have a specific UID in mind for this specific user, so we can give that in using -U option. -G is the option that we can have it added to any specific group when we are creating the user account. So by default, it will get created in the primary group. So when it created, but while creating itself, you want to have it part of some other group. So we can use this G option, and we can give an expiry date for the new user that we create. So suppose if you have a guest or a client who is visiting our office, and he would be staying with us for about a day or two. So if we want to create a guest account, so we can use this option, expiry date, along with the year, month, and date, so that it'll automatically, we don't need to track by its, manually. So while creating the account itself, we can set this date we have to expire this account using this option. And minus capital G, we can add some existing, other additional groups. And M is the option for adding the skeletal directory. So .bash profile and bash logout, all are some default files that will be used for setting the environment for a user. So this will have to get created. So if you want that, so we need to give this -M option. Okay. So let's now try to create an account. I have logged into the root, so I'll try to create an account. User add -M. M is the option for creating the skeleton directory. -D is the option that I'm giving. And I'm going to create guest 2. And -S is the option to set the shell, which shell I want to assign for this user. I'm saying it is bash shell. And C is for comment. So in case if you want to give a elaborated long name along with a surname and all, so we can use this. I'm giving guest 2, and finally the account name. So that's going to be guest 2. So when I hit enter, it's going to create the account. Guest 2 is the name of the account. So now the account is created, but we need to set the password for this account. So to set the password, we can use the command passwd. Passwd, and you can give guest 2. That's the name of the user account that we have just created. So while giving this command, it'll prompt us to enter the password for this newly created account. So this okay, so I have entered the password as well. Now the new account is now successfully got created. So we can see this things that got the account information updated in a file called etc passwd. You can come down at the last line. We can see the guest 2. That's the last line, which is showing that there's a new account, new user account which got created. The format of this line is guest 2 is the account name, X is meant for the password, 1002 is the UID, and 1003 is the GID. And guest 2, so this is the full name that I talked about. That's a long name. And next one is the home directory. the home directory is home guest2, and finally the shell, which shell I am assigning this user to. And similarly, we can have this, we can also read cat etc shadow is a file that we can use to read the password which is entered for the guest2 account. This is the password. This is encrypted form, and so we cannot read anything from this, or we cannot
So
make anything out of it.
this one we cannot decrypt in any case. The shadow. And what is the way to, let's say, to decrypt this one?
Way to decrypt. So is there any reason you are asking this question? So
In case we forget, normally there will be group
in case if you
accounts.
forget, so the one point is actually you can use root password, I mean root login to reset the password for that particular user. That is one solution.
Yes. Yes.
And the other solution is there's another command called conversion, pwconv. So pwconv is there. So this will, what will do is actually this will remove the encrypted password and it will store it in the, but however, whatever we do, so it will not be available to us in plain text form. So if you're looking for the password to be seen in the plain text, I don't think that can be done. So this is my understanding. Unless otherwise, if we copy this and there are some external utilities, which is there, where I think this is in SHA or which encryption which you are using. So all of these digest we can copy and paste it in the offline utility, and we will be able to get the plain text.
Okay. But then what is the use of this shadow file here? Just for the system, there is for it?
Yes. Yeah. Shadow file is basically you can verify that yes, there is a password that we have updated, or there's a password that is there. So it's there's a password which is set for this user and it is stored there. So we can make sure that there is a password meant for this user account.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll try to log into the newly created user. I'm exiting from the root account, and so I'm going to give su minus and give the name of the user, that is guest2. Yeah, so I've successfully logged into this user, and I'm currently in my home directory of the guest2 user. So su in the su command, I think you must be knowing, however I'm telling. Su is meant for switch user, and if you give hyphen, it'll reset or it'll log into the new user in the home directory. If you give su and guest2, it'll be in the previous directory itself. If you want to move to the home directory of the new user, we can use su hyphen and the name of the user. And okay, so there's a command that I talked about for ID. ID is the command which we can use to list out the UIDs and GIDs of the but specific user account. So currently I have logged in as Alex, and if I give ID, and it's going to say the UID of Alex account is 1000, the GID of this thing is 1000, groups is I'm part of a group, primary group, which is Alex, and its group ID is 1000 again, and I'm part of another group which is called Wheel. Wheel is the admin group, and I'm also part of this admin group. Okay, so those are the information we can get from this ID. And if you say groups, this will tell what are these, what are the new, what are the groups that this user is part of. Currently, I'm part of a primary group, which is Alex, and I'm also part of the admin group, which the name of the admin group is Wheel. I told you about new group. So in case if I want to use get into a new group, I have another group called demo group. Demo group. If I want to get into the new group, I can give new group. I forgot the password. Okay, I forgotten the password for this new group, but we can move to any group we like. Let me try to create another group. Okay, if we, now that we have created a user account, we'll try to create a new group and make the newly created user account part of that group. So that's the one that we'll do. So new group can be added by using the command group add sudo group add and dev for developer. So I'm creating group called dev. Okay, and group is successfully created. And if I want to make the newly created user part of this group, newly added group, the command is sudo user mod. User mod is nothing but modifying the existing user, and we may have to give this option A and capital G and give the name of the group, which is dev, and the user account is guest2. So by this command, it's actually putting the newly created user account into the newly created groups. Okay, now how do we know that it has gone into the guest2 is part of dev group, so we'll have to log in. So if you give groups command, it will tell what are the groups it is part of. So it's part of guest2, which is the primary group, and new group, which is dev. And this can also be seen by the command, by the file etc group. etc group, at the last line, you can see the dev group was created and guest2 is part of the dev group. New group, some I missed something, so let me get back to you about that new group thing tomorrow. So we have found the creating user. We have added a new group account, and we have made the new user part of the new group. Okay, now let's do one more thing. So there's a thing called wheel. New group. There's a group called wheel. Wheel is the admin group. So the point of admin group is basically whoever is part of the admin group will have the eliminated permission of executing all the admin related commands. So currently, if I log into guest2, so if I try to do some command like user add, so it will not allow because guest2 is not uh, part of the admin group, or it is not having the admin permission. So it will not allow me, and it says permission denied. So if you have to make, if you have to give the elevated permission to execute the admin related commands. So I have to make this new group part of a group called wheel. Wheel is the admin group for RHEL based system by default. So we can create these admin groups or customize these admin groups the way we want. So suppose if you want to have some users to execute some of the admin related commands, we can specify those commands and create an admin group so that those users can execute a limited amount of commands. So, but wheel group is not having any restrictions. So once we have this user part of any part of the wheel group, so any user can execute the admin related commands. So let's try to put this user into the wheel group. So to do that, user mod and minus small e capital G, and the name of the admin group is wheel, and then you can see guest 2. So it is now guest 2 is part of the wheel group, and we can see that by giving cat etc group. So the cat etc group file will tell the list of groups and its members. Out of that I want to filter out only the wheel group and information. So the wheel group information is showing here. So at the moment, there are 2 people who are part of this wheel group. One is Alex and the other one is guest 2. So now if I log into guest 2 and then if I try to give any system related command, you will be able to do that for us. So let me try to log into the guest 2 account. And if I give some sudo systemctl, for example, restart httpd. So this is an admin related command. As a simple guest 2 user, I will not be able to do this job. Since I am part of as guest 2 user, this guest 2 user is part of the wheel group. I'll be prompted to enter my password just to verify. So once it is done, so it has successfully restarted it. And I can also give status to see whether it is the HTTP service is running or not. This is a system related command which we can use to see.
Alex, the user root is part of which group? The root itself. But what is the difference between this root group and wheel?
Okay, the root group difference between the root group and wheel group. Wheel group is one second. I'll show you one file. So root group, root is an account. First difference is root is a user account and wheel is a group. Okay. So now another difference is wheel is a group which we are specifying in a configuration file that it will be allowed to execute all the commands. And we can
Where is that
specify.
configuration?
So that's a file I just wanted to show that to you. One second.
So this is like system generated file, no? We as a user or
We
admin, we are
can
not.
change it.
Yeah, we can
By
modify it, but
default,
by default, it should be created.
it will be created by the system. That's correct. By default, it will be sudo as file. It should be in the sudo as file, etc sudo e. This is a very delicate file, so let's log in here. So this is the file. This is a very critical file. If you see here, the wheel group is defined over here. I'll show you. See, root, it says allow root to run any commands here. So this is a configuration that's there. It says root account will be able to execute all the things. And this is what is the wheel configuration. Allow people in group wheel to run all. So this is the admin group. So whoever is part of the wheel group will be able to
perform the same rights as same root. So where is this file? Please go back.
etc.
Your voice.
Yeah. So do you see the screen now?
The screen can see, but your voice is very low now.
Oh, okay.
It's the mic. Your mic is. I think our voice is okay for you because your speaker is good.
Yeah.
Mic, I think. Yeah, now it's better.
Mic.
Now speak, please.
Yeah, so I've still connected my Bluetooth with less power, but since I mean it's going to be like 10-15 minutes time, I think
Should
it
be
will
okay.
work. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want to delete the username, user account that we have created, you can give the command user del -r and give the username. It will delete the user. Passwd command we have seen, and there's a command option in the user add to give the password along with the user addition. So instead of giving two commands, you can add the password by giving the -p option, $ and give open SSL passwd and test123. This is a sample password that I've given. So we can give whatever password that we give, and it will get encrypted and it will be stored onto the user database. All will happen in one single command.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a thing called default settings for users. It's there in the login.defs, which can be configured using a command called change or change. They say so. It'll have the number of days between the password change, number of days the account should be inactive, and things like that. I will quickly show you. For a specific user called guest2, so this is the configuration currently at the moment. So last password change was happened on the January 29, and password expires never. Password is inactive, never. Account expires, never. So all of these things can be changed by giving change guest2, and you can give a password age. You are familiar with this?
It's change? No, this one we haven't seen it. But change is not change.
Yeah,
this command.
CHAG. Yeah.
Very good. So this one you can update it as you go, or you have to go back again.
Yeah, we can update it as we go. This is the easiest way to update it. But however, we can also give CHH -m option to change each of these fields. But CHH and give the user account, it will take us through to change each and every things. Okay, 2025 -01 31 02 maybe 02 this. and I'll change it. And if you see here, so you can see the configurations that I've just made. So minimum number of days between password change should be 5, and maximum number of days between password change is 10. Number of days of warning before expires 2. So all of this information is given here.
Okay.
Yeah. Group addition we have already seen. So putting a user into a group is user mod minus small a and capital G, and give the group name and the username that will take us put the new user into the new group. CHH command, passwd command, putting a user into the admin group. We have seen this. Okay, so we'll move on to the next topic, which is called disk quotas. So the significance of the importance of disk quotas is actually to have the disk space fairly distributed based on the users. So, for example, if we have a disk space of 100 GB, and if you have 10 users accounts that are there in the system, and we will have to have a fair distribution for each of these users. And so we can fair distribution, we can say that all users can have maybe like 1 GB or sorry 10 GB each, and so they can take they can use the 100 GB in total, something like that. So to give a fair distribution, or if the whole of the space is available for all the users, so we might end up in starvation so of memory. So it's very important that we use this quota based on the users that we create. So we likewise whatever I've told, so we can have different spaces for different users. Some users might use different, I mean, he's a project user, some could be an admin user, or based on the functionality, we can define different quotas figures. Okay, so there are a few quotas tools that we have to know. Quota check is a tool that we can use to create and repair quota files, and it also creates a new database, quota database for a partition. So that's one. And edit quota is a tool that we have to that will help us to edit a quota file for a specific user, and we can specify the limit, what is the soft limit and what is the hard limit for a specific user using the edit quota file. And quota on and quota off is the command that we can use to switch on the quota limitations. And rep quota is the command that will show us the output of the or it'll give the summary report of the quotas that are there in the system. Okay, so let's see the steps now. Side by side, I will show the steps. And first thing is I'm putting the security Linux to 0. That is by set enforce 0. Currently, it's an.
What is this
Next
one? Sorry.
This is the security, built-in security that is available for RHEL based systems. So so it'll give little more security. So we will have to switch off this, otherwise it'll it'll have a set of policies which will try to apply and which might interfere with the things. So we will have to in case if we have to enable that, we may have to update those policies to accommodate this. So at the moment, I'm just giving yes.
But what is the current status? How we can know what is the current?
Get enforce. Get enforce. We can get to know that.
Oh, okay, it's permissive and enforced. Okay.
Yeah. So if I put a certain force 1, it will be active, and now it is one means enforcing, permissive means it's allowing, so it's not going to block anything. So that's what it's going to do. Next thing is we need to create a partition. I've already created a partition, so I'll just show the partition I created. Sudo disk -L. Or ls BLK.
So you're creating a partition of the hard drive.
Yeah, I have. I'm creating a partition of the hard drive, and SDC. There are two, SDB1 and SDC1. Two things are there, and at the moment I am taking the example of SDC1, and I have. I will mount this onto a directory. I'll create a directory called quota, and it's also created. This is a directory, and this is the directory that I want to limit the restrict the limitation for any user. So, and the partition I want to mount it into this directory, and the way to mount this, actually I've already mounted it. So mount, the command to mount is dev sdc1 to quota /quota. So that's the mount point. It's already mounted. So it is mounted. So at the moment, the what I have done is I have created a partition, I created a directory, and I have mounted the partition onto the directory. And I have created a file system also, ext4 file system.
Where you created a partition, sorry, partition where you created?
Partition I have created this one, SDC1.
How you created this one?
Okay. So to create the partition, so we need to use fdisk. First, we need to add a disk into the hardware. So since we have only the virtual machine, so what I'm doing is I will add it in the virtual box. And if you see here, this is my virtual box and the settings. And under settings, if we go to storage, and I have got these SATA hard disks. This is my main hard disk, which is of 35 GB, and this is a VM on this, the next disk. This is also 1 GB, and there's a second disk. This is, or the third disk, SDC1. This is another 1 GB. So this is the SDB, and this is the SDC. So this is the disk that I've added. Once I've added this disk, so it will be aware, we can see this disk in the lsblk or fdisk command. We can see this disk. Once we have this disk, we may have to use the fdisk command to make a partition. I have a separate session on that. So, however, since you have asked it, so I'll quickly say this. Fdisk is a command to say dev sdc. So if you see m for help, and if you want to print the partition in details, this is the partition details of this disk. So the partition detail is dev sdc1. That's the name of the partition, and the start and end sectors are here. And this partition is of type Linux. So yeah, so this is what it is.
Okay.
And once we are done, so we can say W, it will write into it. So so at the moment it's all done, so I'm not do it. We'll do it in maybe in the next week sometime, separate session. So at the moment I have the partition created. I have a directory, and I mounted this partition onto this directory, and I want to apply the limit. So that's what is our goal now. Okay, so once we are done, so the file system creation also, so there's a command called mkfs.ext4 and give the partition. So it will create the partition. Just before mounting, we need to create this file system. So that's also done now. And after that, the fifth step is fs tab. So we want this thing to be done by default at the boot up time. So we need to update a file called fs tab. So this file would look like this, etc fs tab. And if you see this file, so this has the information of all the mounts that has to happen when the system boots up. So these are the root directory, boot boot location, and there is a root location. The two things are there, and the last thing I have added now. So SDC1 is this is the one that I'm going to I want it to auto mount. That's SDC1/quota is the mounting point, and the name of the file system is ext4. And there are two files that we want to create. This is the database. It's called as a quota database. One for the user level and other one for the group level. So we'll have to give the name of these database files, and 1 and 2. So this is the configuration that we have to give for fstab file. And once we done that, so we need to reboot the system. I have already done that. I don't want to do it. So just to make sure the system is come up with auto mounting the newly created partition. So that's what we are doing now. So we have successfully done now. And once we are done, then we have to create the quota database using the command called quota check minus VUG and give the partition details. So quota check minus VUG del SDC1. There's an error message showing, that's okay. But now after quota off, so I have to give this command. So it is successfully created the databases. So to see the databases, I can go to the quota directory and I can see this database, quota.user, quota.group. So these files or the database files got created for this directory. So that's already done. Next one is the user that I'm going to create. So I've already created the user called guest1, and guest2 is also another user, but we'll take guest1. And ninth step is to edit the guest user's quota file. So add quota minus u guest1. So this is the file for the guest one. So here it says dev STC1, and the limits are the blocks will be in the terms of kilobytes. So these numbers are in terms of kilobytes. So 1024 kilobytes. So I want to give a restriction of 1 megabyte, both as a soft limit and the hard limit. So this is what it is. So we can change it in case if you want to increase or decrease it given this size. And once it is done, so we can have to enable by giving quota check minus A. To activate it. So it is now activated. And full permission is given for the quota directory. And now we will have to quota on -a. So it is now fully active. Quota is fully active now, and now we can go ahead and test. To test this, actually, can log into the user by giving log into the user now, and I can check by giving this command. The command is dd disk copy command to copy the more than 1 MB. So the command is dd, and so this is the command dd disk copy dev 0. That's a test partition. That's an input thing, and output is under quota, and there's a file called test file. And I'm writing in terms of 1 megabyte, and like this, I want to write 10 chunks of 1 megabyte. And when I press enter, it says user block limit reached. So which means actually this quota exited. So which means this quota is in action, and that's why we are getting this output. Okay, so now if you want to see the report, you can give the command rep quota minus AUG. So this gives a clean report of what is the limits for the user guest one and the user and the group guest one. So these limits are here.
This one normally, this quota is used for the users to limit the usage of that profile, correct? User profile.
Usage of the disk space.
The space for that specific user profile.
Correct.
So in that case, okay. Okay.
We can have.
Is it useful in the production environment?
Yes, definitely, right? So we have to. But otherwise, how will we restrict any specific user to memory size? So the challenge comes is actually we have a size of definitely we'll have some size, and if that size of disk is actually shared by multiple people, and if there is no limitation or restriction for any user to use about the spaces or the sizes, so then any specific user can occupy more space, whereas the other user may not have space at all.
Okay, I get this one, but let's say now in general in any node or server, we can predefine the cap for each user, any new user to be created in future or is created now. So we can predefine this one, the user profile.
Yes.
Any user profile, whenever it is created today or in future, should not exceed 1 gig or 10 gig. We can do this.
Yes, we can do that. Yeah, that's how the production is.
This is how it is done now. What your steps? This is what you have done.
Yeah, that's what I have done now.
So you created a partition from the local hard disk. Let's say you take out of 500 gig, you take let's say 100 gig, for example. You create a partition of 100 gig. So in this partition of 100 gig only, any user which is created will use from this 100 gig only.
Yes.
So if we have more users, let's say 10 user, we create for 10 gig each. And if we have 11th user, where he will go?
So you will get an error message that
We
memory
can
is not
extend
there.
this later on, the cap for this quota folder or quota
Yeah,
partition.
yeah, we can anytime we can change it. I mean, it's in our control only.
Okay. And now today in a system, let's say if we want to know if this cap is applied, how we can know this? The one we're using rep quota. Quota
Yeah,
is
rep quota minus AUG. So that's a command. We give rep quota minus AUG. It will.
No, this one you get because you created this one. So if we want to know in any system if this cap is being or this concept is being applied.
Yeah. So we can. I mean, this command is available, and you can use this command to check if there is any limitation or any cap is set for any users. You can definitely see.
Yeah, because when we are running it, we don't get any information, so it means it's not been applied.
Yes, so it's not been applied. So basically, if at all, if we want to restrict, put a cap for any user, then we'll have to do it. Otherwise, yeah. So basically, if we have so much of space and we know how much we are going to use, we will not or some mechanism we will have to maintain our usage of memory for specific on user basis.